let's talk about that moment when you just don't know what to ask, right? You're having this conversation with her, she's responding well, but you kind of don't know what other questions to ask from there. So I'm gonna help you with that today. Now, when it comes to asking questions, it's really just about getting to know her, right? I mean, I've said this in other videos and I know I'm being repetitive, but remember the whole point in dating is to connect with someone. It's really figuring out where you two connect. And this is why I've said many times before, staying curious is so important, because if you just remember to stay curious, you give yourself that space to think up of questions to ask. But here's the thing, there's obviously better questions to ask that allows you to actually connect with that person, and that even allows you to get to know each other in a way so that you can have the best opportunity for that to happen. You can't just kind of ask like any questions like, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? That doesn't actually allow you to get to know her. So when it comes to figuring out what to ask, first, just keep remembering to stay curious about her. Ask yourself, what else can I know about her through either what she just responded, or if the topic has ended, then just kind of reflect on yourself and thinking, what else do I not know about her? What I want to first talk about is that moment when she gives you an answer, right? And it's a pretty good answer, whether that be text or in person. But she didn't, let's say, ask you a question quite yet. She's just kind of talking about her thoughts on a specific topic. Know that within every response she gives, there is something else to expand on. There always is. Every time I've had a client ask me, I don't know what else to say, and then they'll send me the screenshot, I can already pick out at least one topic to expand on that is maybe different than what you are already talking about. So let's say, for example, you talk about how you two both play a certain instrument, and you asked her how she got started in it. And she said, oh, it's because her brother taught her, and then she wasn't gonna stick to it at first, but then she did, and so now she teaches kids in this instrument. Right there with that answer is, yes, she just made a statement, and it's easy to think, oh, I don't know where to take it from there. But within that response, she talked about her brother, she talked about teaching, and she talked about how she's decided to stick with it. So any of those three, you can pick one of them to then ask, expand on the story more. Just remember that with every topic or information you get about her, ask yourself, do I actually know, the ins and outs and the full story of this topic? And once you kind of can pinpoint something in the response, then you can ask, oh, your brother, are you two close? How many siblings do you have? And then go off on that topic. Or you go off the topic about how she stuck with it. Why did she? Or about teaching. She decided to teach. Why did she decide to teach it? Why is this something that she wanted to do? Expand on it and take it from there. Normally, if you just remember there is something within her response to be curious about, then it becomes easier to pinpoint that and see it, and then take it from there and ask more follow-up questions. And then, of course, chiming in on your thoughts on it too, because it's important to talk about yourself during this. It's not about you just asking all the questions. It's about talking about yourself, how you relate and connect to it, and seeing if she follows up with you too. Now, another point that I want to make in regards to asking questions is making sure you do not ask questions about the interest itself. It's not asking questions about playing that specific instrument. Let's say she plays the guitar. It's not about asking how the guitar works and what are the strings again, how do you read music. It's not about that. And let's say, for example, a lot of people talk about travel. That's a really big topic. I see so many times people get into the same routine of talking about Thailand, about Paris, and then they talk about the destinations or where they've been and the food. They talk more about the interest than yourself. They talk and you ask, actually, a lot of people ask questions about the interest more than you're actually asking her to actually get to know her. So it's important to remember the questions you ask should allow her to, one, talk about herself, but two, to allow her to tell a story. That's how you know you have a good question. When you know that with the question you asked, there's a story to be had. And it's not, I would like to think you're not asking some really in-depth, expansive story, because that would be a lot, but just a story about, what are the moments that really draw you into that destination, right? How do you pick the destinations you go to versus asking, where do you want to go to next? Because that's a really basic question everybody asks. Challenge yourself to think, what kind of question can I ask about this topic that will allow me to get to know her, but allow her to tell me a story? And those are really great questions. So if you can shift your mindset in that way, maybe start even practicing writing out some questions in regards to very specific topics you talk about all the time, that really helps. It allows the conversation to go into so many other different directions versus when you talk about a very specific interest, you just pigeonhole yourself into that and then the conversation just dies. And when it dies, you realize you don't even know much about each other. You just learned more about Thailand. I bring up Thailand because I think that's a great destination. It's probably the last international trip I went to, but that's what it's all about. All right. So that's my tips on when you don't know what to ask next. I hope it helps. And once again, you just remember to stay curious and wonder what else you know about her, then you don't get stuck. And if you just don't know what to say, that's in my other video, so you can go check that out. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.